What's going on, YouTube? Master Trifecta here, cleaning out the house, drinking a Mustang beer. This is a beer local to Oklahoma. Watching the NBA Finals. We're at halftime right now. I figured I might as well go ahead and make this video real quick in case the Heat win the finals tonight. I can't stand the Miami Heat. So I figured I should go ahead and make this video while I'm in good spirits. So it's a 2-point game right now, so hopefully the Spurs can turn this around and win it. But tomorrow, some of you know that BGS Beckett Grading Services is going to be at one of my LCS's, local card shops here in Oklahoma City. And for the first time, I'm actually going to be doing a submission in person. And the way that works is that they charge, it's slightly less than what you would do through the mail. They charge $7.50 to do a raw grade review. That means they're just going to give you a grade only of that card. If you want the card slabbed, meaning if you want it encapsulated into the plastic case, those cost an extra $15. The way I plan about doing it is that you're going to have to get all the cards graded anyways, but I'm only going to have the 9.5 slabbed. So anything that grades 9.5 or better will get encapsulated. But the way it works is they actually don't do any of the grading or anything on the or in the store itself. There's only like 2 or 3 card shows a year. I think there's one on the East Coast. There's a TriStar show in Houston, and the National, which is like usually in California or Chicago. But they only do like the encapsulation live in front of you at those shows. Anywhere else you see Beckett doing one of the appearances or the whatnot, they're just going to take those cards from you in person, and they will take them back to their office or whatever, or send them back themselves and get them graded. The cost, that like the $7.50 for the raw grade, that also includes the shipping back to you. So it's the price is a little bit different than like doing it from the mail, but it actually sounds like it's a good thing because, like, for those that don't know, Beckett is based out of Dallas, Texas. That's 2.5 hours away from Oklahoma City. So there's just one of their representatives that's driving up to hang out at a card shop here all weekend, and he's going to drive the cards back on Saturday night and submit them. I'm not for sure, like, I think there's going to be, like, a promotional, like, a 20-day rate or something. I don't know. I'll be able to report more about it tomorrow. But what I was doing tonight is this stack of cards is what I'm going through. I haven't really inspected them, up to my knowledge yet. But while I was doing some of that, I thought it'd be a good idea just to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just explain some more about what I look for as far as like grading the cards and the such. Like, I was going through just a moment ago, and like I was looking for some examples of what they're going to be looking for. The centering, of course. Like these cards are pretty much almost spot on, but this is a good way. Like I mentioned this in my previous video. Like if there's like a card that you want to get graded and it has like a refractor or a parallel, or even just a regular base card, if you can, get 2 of them and kind of compare them side by side, that will kind of give you an idea of the centering and the whatnot of the card. But the edges, the corners, and the surface are the other 3 things that you need to be aware of. And I was looking on this card, not that I was really wanting to get this Daniel Cormier base card graded, but I wanted to I think it's showing up on camera, but see how there's a line going right through him right here? There, good right there. Yeah, that is a perfect example of something that you don't want. Surface, the best way I like to examine the surface is like, I have a lamp behind me, and like, if you can see how I'm like going back and forth and just kind of looking at it, it's probably going to be hard to tell on the camera, but like right up here at the top where this top glare is, there's like a little nick, like a dent or an indention. Let's see if we can get up there in it. It's right up. It's right up in here, like right there, right at the very top, right here. And like, there's no white showing, and you really can't see it. Just looking at the card from just normal, just looking at it, you can't see that. But by going back and forth, you can see like right there, right in that glare. There's just a little nick. That all the color is still there, but it dips. So that's going to count off on your surface too. Like the edges of the card, that's one of the gradings. You always want to look along the sides right here. You just want to make sure that the card lays flat and that there's like no discoloration or fraying. Speaking of fraying, this card is a good example of fraying. I don't know if it's going to show up as well on camera, but if you can look right across the top of this whole card, it probably looks like it's part of the card on camera, but there's just a thin line of white that goes across the whole top of that. I just don't know if that's showing up or not, but like, it looks like like this card may have been pushed against something and just like pushed or like scuffed. But that's gonna slaughter your edges. That's gonna be like an 8.5. Just like the whole top right there, that's gonna count off huge. But always make sure to like look on both sides of the card. Not only are they gonna grade the back, or they grade the front, but they're going to grade the back as well. You still have gloss on the back of the card, so see how I'm running that light across the top of it? Yeah, definitely you want to do that on both sides of the card. Another good thing to use is, this is a fisheye, which is just basically a magnifying glass. It's probably not going to work out that well on the camera or whatever. But you can use a magnifying glass, you can use a fisheye, but that's another way that you can go about like looking at the surface. This method is really good to use like on prismatic cards, because those are the most sensitive. Also, your edges. This is an example of what you don't want. I got this card on eBay. See, like, get this to focus here. We have white edges right here, a little scuffing right here. If you look over on the opposite corner, right here, big white spot right there. That's going to count off big time. Another white edge up here, a little bit more fraying. Black cards are the hardest to get graded. Usually with black cards, I don't even bother getting them graded because every single thing shows up on them. Always make sure to hold your cards by the the sides of the cards. I tell people, don't finger fuck your cards, because if you get the like fingerprints, that's going to dock it off. And even if you try to buff it off, I've tried doing it before, it doesn't help. It's just going to smear the natural oils from your finger. It just shows up so well on that gloss, and it's just going to smear it in and make it even worse. So with the cards that you're really like want to take care of, always hold them from the sides. Check this out. See, more fraying right here. This guy sold me a dirty ass card. These are hard to find, but the one reason I want it is because it's the 101, 1 of 99. You see more fraying down on the bottom. Dirty, dirty card. Autograph grading, you always want to make sure the auto is thick, no streaking in it, real thick, and you also want to make sure that all the auto is on the card. You don't want it to run off the side of the card, or like any like light spots in the auto itself. Each time you do that, you get docked, and you'll usually get it at 9 auto a lot of the times. Here's another example of the surface of the card, and if you can see in his hairline, there's like, I don't know what it is on the card, but like right inside of here. I don't know what that is, but like that's definitely something there that shouldn't be there. There, that kind of shows it pretty good. But again, if I tried to rub that off, it's probably just going to smear it, if not make it worse. So, just that little thing is going to ding you. Because, like, when I submit my cards, here's a little fraying right here. See how this is thick, dark on that side? Fraying right here. You don't want any of that. When we grade modern cards, you only want to submit what you can get a 9.5 on. And cards, just when a card comes out of a pack, it doesn't mean it's going to be a 9.5. There's, maybe like 1/10 of all the cards that are produced are even like a gem quality mint card, pristine. But, a lot of fresh cards, on an average, they're probably like an 8.5 or a 9. And I just wanted to like finish this off by showing a card that's absolutely what I consider pristine. And this is a John Jones. Just going through it here. I don't see any blemishes or anything on this. The auto is a complete 10. It's completely on the sticker. The reason why I'm grading this is because it was a redemption. And this redemption came directly straight from TriStar, so it never came in a pack. It just came top sleeve and or top in a plastic sleeve in the top loader, just like you're supposed to ship them. But dude, this card is like crisp. There's not even a curl, like sometimes I get it from being in packs. This card's perfectly flat. It's just like I've looked it over. I think this card's a 9.5. We'll see in another month when I get it back, but all the corners are sharp. Notice how there's no white corners all the way to the corner. See how it's like solid color throughout? It's like that on all the corners. The card lays flat. I've already looked through the edges. They're real nice. No fingerprints or anything on the card. But yeah, I think we can do quite well with this card. But yeah, I just wanted to throw a few thoughts out there. I'm going to be, I got to go through all these cards tonight. So they got to stand up to my test of whether or not I'm going to shell out some money to get them graded or not. But I just wanted to go through some of my thought processes, some of the things that I pick out and I look for when I grade through cards. Hopefully it'll help you guys out. Also, Nick with A&N Sports Cards, that's twitter.com/A&N Sports Cards and ANNSportsCards.com. I'll put the info in the description. But he's starting to do group submissions. And the way with the BGS cards that work, the more you submit at one time, the cheaper it is for everyone involved. So if you're interested in getting some cards graded, you should definitely check Nick out at ANNSportsCards.com. And also, another thing I just wanted to go over before I forget is whenever you submit the cards, you always want to use these. These are semi-rigids. The reason why is because it makes them easier for the people that are grading them. It makes it easier for them to get it out of the package. And also, like, here's a perfect example of a card that's already in one. And notice how it doesn't like move around. Like sometimes in these top loaders, sometimes they can shift around or bounce back and forth throughout there. With these, they're going to stick. So you always want to submit in these. So with your ultra thick cards, I usually just send them in a regular, top loader, but I also put them in a team bag by itself. But for any cards that will fit inside of here, you definitely want to send them in semi-rigids. That's what Beckett wants them in. But also, if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Twitter, twitter.com/mastertrifecta. I'll be happy to pass on along any knowledge I have as far as grading cards, or if you want me to take a look at something, or determine, like if it's worth grading or not. I just basically, kind of say that grading for, like the hot prospects, or like the harder hits, like the Ronda Rousey Redding to 15. You know, you want to save it for, a card that's valuable. That way it kind of protects the value of my card. You also have it encapsulated so it can't get damaged, and you have Beckett's name on it, which is kind of like the authority in the sports collectibles market. So just some thoughts I wanted to share. Hope you guys can benefit from it. Don't hesitate to give me a shout. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Have a nice night, guys. Go Spurs!